Our beloved 8% HardAF Seltzer is now live in Florida, Georgia, Alabama, Texas, Ohio, Montana, Idaho, Oregon, Michigan, Pennsylvania, Illinois. Go to HardAFSeltzer.com today. Click on the store locator and enter your city or zip to find the closest location nearest you.
We are cold for energy. Send it.
Incoming!
Put the money in the bag, man.
As I said, your paycheck is your thank you.
What's going on back there? This is awesome! Welcome to Earth! No. Who's flying the plane? Get cockpit. Go! God!
Black Rifle Energy, dropping near you.
Welcome to Drinkin Bros, presented by OmahaSteaks.com.
Welcome to Drinkin Bros. Ross is dead. Dead set against being here today. He's in Alabama with his child, meeting with Circle K people. Our booze went into Circle K's this weekend. And then he's going to go take our buddy to the Atlanta Falcons football game, which is basically like watching children play football. He's not here to defend himself, so I'm going to say a lot of weird shit today. We have a guest, Stirling Cooper. I'll introduce you in a moment. But before we get there, we don't know when this is going to go out. We're recording this on Friday, but this is a stacked show, right?
It will be on a Friday, probably?
It'll be on a Friday at some
yeah.
point. These Friday shows can get a little bit weird. We kind of range from social issues to political issues to business stuff, right? So maybe we'll touch on a little bit of all of that. But first, let's talk about you, Stirling Cooper. Not Stirling Cooper from the TV show.
No. Unfortunately
Spelled
not.
differently. You're S-T-I-R-L-I-N-G, yeah. And you're from Australia, which is a criminal colony set up by the British.
Correct.
Back in the day. Are you yourself a criminal?
I am descended from a criminal, yes. But he wasn't.
Well, we probably all are to some degree, right?
Well, the funny thing is, the guy I'm descended from, he came out as like a soldier escorting a convict ship, and then when he was in the colony, he stole a watch and ended up in the prison.
That's how it goes, yeah.
How it
I
goes.
guess technically speaking, with every generation back, you double your chances of being related to a criminal.
True.
Technically, or no, it's exponential, so we doubled in 4x and so on. My family are all criminals now, I think. So
I'm trying to stay out of jail as long as I can.
Well, and it's more difficult in Australia than it is here, I think. You can't say words over there.
No, you can't. You can't say words. You can't hold your arm at a 45-degree angle. That got outlawed like last year. We've got some interesting new like.
In what
laws and
regard? Like,
regulations.
what if I'm doing the Roman?
That's completely. You will go to jail in Australia.
But is it exactly 45? And who comes and measures you? Do they have
I
a
don't
protractor?
know. Yeah, some dude comes out of the woodwork.
Yeah, there's like a big human-sized protractor, and some cop shows up. He's like, jail.
Yeah, exactly.
Right.
You could have been like hailing a taxi down, and you're in prison now.
That's retarded nonsense. My buddy Isaac Butterfield is actually going to be here next week to do the show. I don't know if you know him or not.
I'm familiar with the name.
Yeah,
I think
he's
I've
an
followed him a little
Australian comedian. He had to go to court last year for calling somebody a fucking tranny or a retard or something. I don't remember what it was.
bit. Yeah, sounds about right. People don't like people don't like the truth down this.
You guys have been from somebody who started as a prison colony becoming bigger and bigger pussies for the last 30 years, ever since that gun ban started.
Right. Yeah, tell me about it. There's a lot.
What was
of
it,
really,
96, right?
It was when I was a kid. There's a lot of really interesting things about
Yeah.
that. There's a YouTube channel called The Wasp Files, and basically like. You know how everyone was talking about the whole JFK thing over the last few years? How like
over the last 60 years?
Well,
Oh,
yeah.
you mean like
But
just
they were
more?
releasing the files,
yeah,
right?
more so lately. Yeah.
There's a lot. We have that, but with the Port Arthur massacre in Australia.
Really?
Yeah, like it
Like
wasn't.
you think it was some kind of false flag or something?
The dude who like did it is like literally a clinical retard. Like he couldn't tie his shoelaces and shit. Like, and it was apparently one of the most accurate mass shootings ever. Like he didn't miss. Like there's a lot of fuckery afoot with that whole setup. So yeah, I had a military buddy of mine like break this down for me, and I was like, damn. Well, you made a believer out of me. I think it was a conspiracy. So,
Well, this is this concept, and it has infected the American right now too. It's not just the left.
right.
Of, I guess, collective punishment is Marxism. That's nonsense. You don't punish a group for the actions of the individual.
Yeah.
Groups don't have rights. Groups don't have responsibilities.
Right.
So they can't have consequences. Doesn't make any goddamn sense. Which you would think that a country that was kind of founded on getting kicked the fuck out of somewhere would be more sensitive to that, to be honest. But it seems like Australia has been particularly, what's the good word for that? Anytime there's any kind of globalist movement, Australia seems to fall right into it immediately.
Mate. You know what the weird thing is that Australians aren't. Australians are actually really hard to piss off. Like we're so easygoing and we're so laid back that the attitude is kind of like, it'll be all right, mate. Don't worry about it. But if you say that enough times, you end up in the situation we're in right now.
Yeah, that laissez-faire shit doesn't work when you're under attack. But the average, like I know, we have a lot of Australian fans, and I have a bunch of buddies over there too. And the dudes are pretty. Well, I guess it depends on what part of the country you're from, but the dudes are mostly hard bastards. They're nice, laissez-faire guys, but they're not like soft. It's not like the Pacific Northwest in America where everybody's got really tight jeans on, and you don't. If you looked at him, you're like, he's probably at least held one at some point. He may not have sucked it, but he definitely held on to it for a little while. That's not the case with Australian people, but still, politically speaking, maybe it is that laissez-faire attitude. Like how frequent is it for a pleb to get involved in politics there? Is it all
we're
like
probably the most politically apathetic.
But isn't it
nation.
fucking like they shut down all the bars on voting day? Everybody, don't you have like a 97% voting percentage because it's like you have to?
Yeah, you get fined if you don't. Yeah.
So what the fuck?
So what people do instead is they do this thing called a donkey vote where they deliberately screw up the ballot and fill it out wrong so it doesn't count. Just to sort of, that's kind of their silent way of protesting against either political party.
You know what would be an even better way of protesting is to vote one of the donkey voters into office. Or a bunch of them, and then let them fuck shit up for a little while.
Well, they actually, not long ago, there was this guy who got elected in, I think he was in the Victorian Senate, and he got elected under the V8 party, which is exactly what you think it is.
Like the drink?
The engine.
Oh, V8, okay. Not like the
outlaw.
tomato drink.
No, not that.
Oh, wait, they tried to outlaw V8s?
They were trying to, it was something to do with like outlawing like emissions and things like that. And he was this complete like bogan redneck, and he got elected just because of the way our electoral system works with preferential voting. And he actually held like a lot of power in the Senate because it was like a tied parliament. And so they basically had to go to this bogan and be like, all right, Tony, like, we want to pass this bill. What do you want? And he pretty much held the major political parties ransom for like a whole 7 years. Great.
I like that. Just some dude named Greg that nobody can control.
Yeah.
It's like what was that movie, Bob? Where John Goodman became the king of something?
King Ralph.
King Ralph.
Of England.
Of England, yeah. That's what we need. We need some fucking hillbilly. Some dude that fist fights kangaroos is in charge of Australia. Just give him a couple years. And see
I
how it
trust
goes.
that guy.
Yeah.
Because he doesn't have an agenda. Like, he's not beholden to anyone. He's not taking bribes from people. You know, he doesn't have you know, an ulterior motive. He's just being a regular bloke.
So if you had to put a pen in it, the reason that Australia is kind of more receptive to that pussy globalist shit is just the laissez-faire attitude.
Very much so.
That's sad.
Well, our politicians are so boring. I think this might be the strategy. Our politics and our politicians are so boring that no one pays attention to it. Like, American politics is like a spectator sport.
Yeah, I mean, the UK used to be like that, too. The House of Commons, they used to fuck people up. I don't know if they're still doing that. Bob?
Yeah, no, they still are. But I used to watch that on CNN as a kid, or
awesome.
C-SPAN as a kid. And it was all, House of Commons was the best. And they'd go to Congress, and you just go to sleep.
Yeah.
House of Commons rules.
Well, now, I mean, Trump's brought it back. He's a wild card, I guess. Is there an Australian Donald Trump?
No, nothing even
There's
close.
like a super rich wingnut over there
Yeah.
who could afford to run in politics and fuck shit up. Who is that guy?
He was talking about rebuilding the Titanic at one point as well.
Well, that's not great because that didn't work out.
It didn't work out the first time, so I don't know why I want to do it the second time.
It'd be like somebody running for German chancellor. It's like, we're going to bring the Hindenburg back. Yeah, that's dumb. So anyways, Australia is weird. Tell people what you do now.
Well, now I'm a retired porn star who now helps dudes and women improve their sex life. Basically.
In what regard? What do you mean improve their sex life? That could mean a lot of things.
So, if the dude's got any problem like boner issues, premature ejaculation, these kind of things, I can teach him how to fix them on his own. And if he's not dicking his missus down correctly, I can give him a few pointers, give him a few tips and tricks, some tactics, and we can fix that as well.
Sure, yeah. There's a price to pay for an undicked down woman.
Very
I
much so.
People seem to think that you can either fuck a trashy woman maybe, or make love to a woman that you're in love with, but that's not reality. That's actually pretty fucking stupid. I mean, I don't think our fans definitely don't believe that, but women like to be physically dominated. And we sexualize those things, whether it was intrinsically sexual at the beginning or not. We sexualize those things because it's part of the polarity of men and women.
Completely.
So women obviously sexualize that, and they take that as not just sexual gratification, but they take it as a sign that I'm well taken care of and I don't have to worry about bears and shit like that.
That she's safe.
Yeah. If women were getting fucked right, for example, there would be no debate about whether men or bears are safer to run into in the woods.
No, there would be no debate about what a man and a woman is.
Well,
I think the real pandemic is that women are not fucked properly. Like, if you had a judge who was a woman, you are praying. If you're going to court and you judge a woman, you are praying that her husband dicked her down properly.
Yeah. I mean, I just even at the grocery store, you know what I mean? I'm hoping just for the better attitude, I guess. So if you had to, I guess, if you had to write a problem statement, I guess, that you're trying to solve, what would that problem statement be?
Teach men how to dick their woman down properly. Pretty much. Like, there's a lot of dudes who think that women are innately sort of sugar and spice and all things nice, that there's no like perverted, dirty, nasty side to them.
Okay, well, if you believe that, I recommend just one time ask your girl to see her best friend's group chat.
Oh, boy.
And read just like maybe scroll like 3 or 4 pages of it and see what you see in there. And I don't know if you're going to want to see it, to be honest, because it's probably way more fucked up than the stuff. When men describe a sexual encounter with a woman, it's like, yeah, fucked her, dude. When women describe it, it's like gross detail. It's nasty shit.
There's a lot more adjectives.
Yeah. That's why you can write fucking smut for these broads, and and the worse it gets, it's like, oh yeah, it opened up with some dude getting cannibalized. I'm like, what are you fucking talking about? I don't want to hear that shit.
Well, that's like, forget your missus's group chat. Like, look at the erotic novels your mum was reading when she was like giving birth to you.
Yeah.
You know, all this old school Mills and Boone and stuff like that. That would make the average man blush.
Yeah, there's a lot of that Puritan nonsense where, and you hear even there's phrases that try to adjust for it, I guess, which is like you want a lady in the streets, but a whore in the sheets, I believe is how it goes. Is that right? Whore in the sheets?
Freak
in the sheets.
Freak in the sheets.
I don't like the way you said that, Bob.
Freak in the sheets.
Even the way you cocked your head right.
It's actually freak in the bed, but
no, lady in the streets, freak in the sheets. It rhymes.
Yeah, that doesn't
works.
rhyme. Ryan, shut the fuck up, dude.
I said, yeah. Okay.
Yeah, but that phrase implies that, we want her to be ladylike, but also we want to get wild in the bedroom. But somehow that isn't how dudes treat their women. No. And I think it's also, there's a long, for a dude, it's like I see thing and I want thing. For a woman, it's more like a little bit of pressure builds up throughout the day. and then she's ready to do whatever the fuck, right?
It's like a volume knob rather than a light switch.
Exactly. And I think dudes handle that particular strategy very poorly.
Yeah.
Because we handle it from our perspective. It's like, if you did that in any other way, if you tried, if there's any other thing you were trying to do, strategically speaking, where you just like, well, here's the outcome I want. I don't give a fuck what this machine's designed to do. That's not smart. It's not a smart way to handle your business. You know what I mean? Yeah. Like, I want this thing to print. Well, this is a computer. It's not a printer. So it's not going to do that, no matter how much I want it to happen. And we tend to approach things from an outcome or results-based, right? Which is not really the way you can approach a woman, in my opinion.
I think another problem guys run into is when a guy like actually falls in love with a woman and he actually cares about it and he actually likes her, it becomes harder to fuck her. Like he because he actually likes her and he actually respects her, the sex is no longer that nasty, freaky, passionate, dominant sex that he might give some broad down at the bar.
Yeah.
You know, she gets made love to because he actually likes her, and ironically, she doesn't like that. Ironically, she would much rather be treated like the slut he's picked up down at the bar.
Yeah, I mean that's a hard lesson for people to learn, I think, because maybe they see it as disrespectful or something. I don't know.
Yeah.
But it's not at all.
No,
like,
not at all.
Treat your woman like the sexual creature she is and spit in her fucking mouth. Like, put your kids down to bed and then fucking bring her into the bedroom and spit in her mouth. I think it's a good way to go about your business. Those two things may, on the surface level, seem incongruous, but they're not. It's the same. We are all a number of different people throughout our day. I'm a different person at work than I am at home. Not wholly, right? My values are always the same, but the kind of shit that I expect to happen is different. If I go to a college football game, maybe I'm drinking and screaming and shit, you know what I mean? Especially if I'm gambling, I'm probably screaming because I suck at gambling on college football. But, you know, if I was at a funeral the other day, it's a completely different type of person. You know, I don't know. Context seems to matter there.
Yeah, and the context of you being like two people alone in the privacy of your own bedroom. The context is she wants to be treated sexually. She wants to be your sex object. It's like women. A lot of women's sexual ego is tied into the fact that they can like turn a guy on and arouse him. Like they intimately, innately like being the object of a man's lust. You know,
so
and
the same way
to treat her
like,
otherwise is like actually in and of itself actually disrespectful.
Yeah. So it's like treating a man with respect or like he's a tough guy or something is kind of the same.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah, men want to be respected. Women want to be like longed for, lusted after.
Yeah, that makes sense. But dudes aren't doing. I mean, we've got a lot of issues with dudes. Whether it's that, I don't know where it comes from. The Madonna horror complex, which is I learned from this one. She teaches me stuff. Where it's like you can't be a blend of those two things, right? It's like, all right, cool. Well, I was in war, and I'm not the same dude in a gunfight that I am just walking around. If I was, then I wouldn't spend too much time walking around. I would be walking around a 6x8 cell if that were the case, or dead, right? But then there's, you know, just the degradation of masculinity and culture. Some of it intentional, some of it's been environmental and circumstantial, like food and shit like that. You could say maybe some of that was intentional. I don't know. I don't think it matters if it was a conspiracy or not. The fact is you can identify and treat it, so it doesn't matter who's trying to do it. Like I can be resilient just through my own effort in that regard, so nobody can fuck with me there. So I don't spend too much time worrying about all the conspiracy bullshit there, but you know, these are I think there's a lot of issues that lend themselves to this lonely man syndrome that's going on in the West right now, and the declining birth rates that are a result of that.
Well, you got the lonely man syndrome because men aren't allowed to have male-only spaces anymore. Every single traditional male-only space has been coerced or infiltrated by women. Like, you don't have, a basic example would be Boy Scouts, so you have to have women in the Boy Scouts now.
It's just called the Scouts now, actually.
Right, exactly.
Yeah.
You can't have like male-only clubs, male-only sporting events, male-only sporting venues. These sort of things are deemed somehow sexist or derogatory for guys wanting to just spend time with only guys, talking like guys. Because the moment you inject a woman into a space like that, the dynamic always completely changes. Like the guys there's always some guy in that room who's trying to get her attention, who's trying to fuck her.
Yeah.
Or the other guys are sort of walking on eggshells, trying not to offend her and upset her. But you change that for like a locker room where it's only blokes, and the conversation is very different. The dynamic is very different, and I think that is a massive contributor to this loneliness epidemic, because like, where can a guy go to be around just other like-minded men, express himself and speak freely? You know, even though we do have free speech in America, your speech is still policed when you're not when you're not around people who you can truly speak your mind around. Someone's going to try and judge you for what you're saying and what you believe.
Yeah, I mean, I guess the solution to that is to not give a fuck.
Completely, but that's a lot harder for the average person to do. I mean, like you said, you've been through war, you've been through some tough shit, right? So you understand that there are worse things than, you know, offending somebody.
Yeah,
right?
yeah.
But I think the average guy probably doesn't understand that, or hasn't had enough life experience or enough challenging experiences in his life to understand that just, you know, pissing someone off isn't the end of the world.
Yeah, no, I mean, who cares? But yeah, it's. I think we have this really bad habit, and I don't know how long it's been going on. It's kind of hard to track, but at least since the 1960s, where we try to solve the problem as far downstream as possible instead of solving upstream problems. I was talking about this. I was talking about this the other day. This whole like. This nihilism amongst young men especially is something that people in America are kind of waking up to, but it's something that's been going on for a long time, and I've seen it in a lot of different places. It's gang culture, terrorism with young men, and now the version that we see is twofold here in the U.S. Well, it's threefold. It's gang culture, it is the lonely man thing, and then there's also all of the mass shooting bullshit. These are all the same archetype to me. These are people who have been told that they have no place in society, that not only that, but that society is actively against them in some way, right? Yeah. So it started with the gang stuff back in the day. It's like, well, you're fucking black or brown. America's white, which has never really been true. We were mixed from the very beginning, but let's just, because Irish and Italian people were not considered white back in the day, right? So
nor were Germans.
Nor were Germans. To be fair, but it's always been like that, right? It's always been some exclusionary thing or another. But we were told, every new generation is told, to at least to some degree, that your group, unless you're part of the majority group, your group is just not. There's nothing here for you, right? So what happens during those times of nihilism is we create parallel economies like the La Cosa Nostra, like the Italian mafia, all the mobs, right? All the mafia groups. Then the gangs that came later after them. This is the same thing that happens with the terrorists in a Middle Eastern country, or the mass shooter here. The terrorist in a Middle Eastern country gives themselves over to a violent ideology. The mass shooter here goes inward. It's just different, right? They go inward, and the only real difference is the currency that they're trying to get. The gangster's trying to get money. The terrorist is trying to get 72 fucking virgins or whatever stupid shit they believe, and the incel fucking mass shooter person is trying to get some kind of recognition or revenge or something like that, right? They want to matter.
Yeah, is that what you think it is? Because that to me, that's the one that's kind of the most interesting, and it's hard, and I think it's the hardest to diagnose. Is it attention? Is it, like you said, significance?
I think it's a mixture of all those things, right? Like if you, this is true sexually as well, but whatever you don't get emotionally as a child, you try to crave as sexually as an adult, right? So if you don't get attention, if you're a girl and you don't get attention from dad, you're going to crave dudes who try to control you when you're older. That's a fact, right? We know that. I mean, there's a million studies to show that. Same thing in reverse, right? Like if you have abuse in childhood, you have like a very like your what do you call it? Your attachment is going to be very flimsy to people, right? Because you just can't trust anybody ever, right? That person's going to abuse me eventually, so if I don't get too close, blah blah blah. I think it depends on what the person got, or maybe more importantly didn't get when they were younger. So this is the case. There's some good examples of this actually. So for inner city turmoil, these people that have, in America at least, who have in a lot of ways opted out of organized society, built parallel economies or whatever the fuck with their drug use or whatever, or drug sales or whatever. when we've gone in and tried to do the downstream solution to that, which is, well, there's a housing crisis. We're going to build a bunch of public housing. All right, cool. You give it to them. The problem still exists. They don't feel like they're part of the system, right? So this building is part of the system, and they fucking trash it, right? We build hospitals and schools and areas near terrorist groups, and they fucking trash them. And these mass shooter kids almost exclusively are middle and upper middle class kids. They're not poor kids doing that shit, right? They are given everything by their parents except for the things that they actually need, which is like attention and teaching them how to be a fucking man, right? And they go out and seek that thing, this time violently instead of sexually. But I think those two things are pretty similar in my opinion.
I think maybe they're missing, they weren't taught by their father this idea of like emotional control. Like, because if you're like, I can't think of a more like emotional thing than to walk into a school and shoot up people because you're feeling like a certain way.
Yeah.
You know, it's an outward expression of their inability to actually control and regulate their own emotions.
Modulate for sure. It's so a man responds and a boy reacts.
Yeah.
Right. And then even in your interpersonal relationships, a man will lead while a boy will attempt to control. Those are not the same thing. Trying to control somebody else's behavior at the end of a string is not the same as leading by example and expect like that. That doesn't mean you have to accept bad behavior. It means bad behavior happens and you address it, and if they don't correct it, then you fucking tell them to fuck off, right? It's that simple.
Or you walk away.
Yeah, either way. I can't think of like treating people like children, even when they're going through childhood to some degree. Like you have there's a I'm sure some sliding scale, but when you're talking to a 5-year-old, you have to understand they can't regulate their body yet, right? So you have to. The instruction I've been given by people who've raised a bunch of boys actually is to name the emotion they're feeling. Like, you must feel very angry right now. It's okay to feel angry, but you're not allowed to do stupid shit because you're angry. It's simple, right? And it teaches them to don't block it out, because that doesn't work. Absence doesn't work when it comes to emotion. You can't do that shit. So feel it and then learn to control it, as you say, right? Or I would say respond instead of react. Take a beat. Take 30 seconds. Like, man, this is making me feel this way. Why is it making me feel this way? What's an appropriate response? But in the time that it takes you to answer those two questions, you're going to do something smarter than you would have if you're just like, fuck this, boom. You know what I mean?
Immediately react. I think there's another approach that I was taught when I was a young man, which was like, there was a filter between like external stimulus, maybe someone saying something, someone doing something to you, right? There's like a little filter that has to pass through before you have an emotion, and that filter is like, what does this mean to me? Like, how am I going to interpret this?
All right, even though we are doing a serious show today, we do have sponsors that allow us to do these shows, so please go out and support them. First and foremost, our title sponsor of the show, OmahaSteaks.com. Right now, during the Red Hot Sale event, you can get 50% off site-wide at omahasteaks.com. Plus, our listeners get an extra $35 off with the promo code DrinkinBros at checkout. From handcrafted steaks to delicious fall favorites, Omaha Steaks delivers the world's best steak experience. Enjoy USDA-certified tender steaks, juicy burgers, cozy and convenient comfort meals, plus tailgating favorites like chicken wings, smash burgers, and big deli-style franks. We just booked our travel for Penn State for the whiteout game in, 10 days. It's 10 days from now. We'll be up there with Ron Zimmich, and he's cooking out some Omaha for us, and we'll have the booze of all the HardAF Seltzers you want. If you want to come and join us, that is an all-day tailgate because it's a night game. So we will be there having some Omaha Steaks, having some HardAF Seltzer, and some laughs. Because the beauty is, with Omaha Steaks, it's not just steaks. I know it's called omahasteaks.com. Smash burgers, incredible. The chicken, absolutely incredible. The ballpark franks are actually real ballpark franks. They are bigger than the hot dog bun. If you do not believe me, when you go and make an order, because you can kind of mix and match and do whatever you want, as far as meats are concerned, or sides, I get sides too. I got wine. I finally had the wine. Delicious, man. Those guys are killing it across the board. You're going to notice when you put the actual hot dog in the bun from the ones that you buy from the store, it's going to be way bigger. And my kids are like, I don't understand it. I'm like, this is what happens, kids, when you don't have processed meats, all right? This is fresh. and amazing and delightful across the board. They're eating hot dogs and burgers all the time now, my younger boys, and I love it because that's what I have every night, and it makes it a lot easier for my wife. I also love the convenience of when they just drop it off at your doorstep. It's in a huge white styrofoam cooler. It's all iced down. That thing will last for like 48 hours, dude. Then you pop it in the freezer, and those smash burgers are, freezer to bun in probably 6 minutes tops over there. Omaha Steaks has been America's original butcher since 1917, a family-owned company with over 100 years of expertise in the meat industry. And like I said, they carry mouth-watering burgers, chicken, pork, seafood, and little delectable desserts. I've not had the seafood yet. That's the only thing that I have not tried. Get fired up for fall grilling with Omaha Steaks. Visit omahasteaks.com for 50% off site-wide during the Red Hot Sale event. And for an extra $35 off, use the promo code Drinkin Bros at checkout. That is 50% off at omahasteaks.com and an extra $35 off with the promo code Drinkin Bros at checkout. See their delicious site for details. Next up, we got firstform.com/Drinkin Bros. Damn it, D'Anthony, I'm not taking my microfactors today. Are they back there? Are they hidden here? I know you put some on the Citizen set the other day.
They're all over the place.
I know, dude. I got to go find them. I'm out of mine. I just went out of them.
There's packs over there, and there's packs up
Boom.
at the
All
front
right.
door.
Thank God, dude. If I don't take the vitamins that I need every day on a daily basis, I might die at this point. I'm not working out the way I need to because I'm trying to save energy at night to get through this heat, man. Is this ever going to end here? Holy shit. It was 101 at 6 o'clock at night last night at practice. Fuck me. It's hot. But having these level 1 bars all throughout the day at least gets me prepared for it, man. The protein bars are the best in the business. 20 grams of protein in every single bar. These are the best flavors on the planet. Strawberry smash cake. PB&J is what the kids love. They also have the birthday cake ones. They asked me to come to the office on Sunday. This is a true story. Went to Dick's Sporting Goods to buy some football equipment. And I said, hey, Dad, can we stop by the office and grab some of the bars? I was like, yeah. They're 11 and 7, for Christ's sakes. That's how good these bars are. And if you're trying to wean your kids off of candy bars and everything else, First Form is a great place to do it. They're all new bar that they got out for the fall is the pumpkin spice bar. Some of our listeners have already had that. And then the apple pie is also new. D'Anthony and the powders. The powders, I heard they just came out with cookies and cream, right?
Yeah. And they have the seasonal pumpkin spices.
Oh,
here.
is that a powder too?
Yeah, if
Hell
you're
yeah.
if you're a fucking white woman that listens to our show,
Chances are you are.
or a dude who likes
White women.
you can lure them in.
It's a great gift too.
Yeah, I think just like leave a trail of pumpkin spice protein powder from the gym to your car, and you can get dates.
I think so too.
Yeah.
For the fall. And those microfactors give you all the vitamins you need that I was talking about earlier. It's 30 individual bags in a box. Beautiful. Beautiful little box. Beautiful little box like Trump. You just put it out either next to your computer, on your kitchen, wherever, your pantry and everything else. And it's got a little thing that just pops out. They're already prepackaged for you. Take the guesswork out of vitamins. It's got the big 6 in them, antioxidants, CoQ10s, EFAs, fruits and veggies, and the probiotics. And that's what you need to get you going throughout the day. Please head on over to firstform.com. And then it's First Form spelled with a 1. That is 1stphorm.com today. It's not just the protein and the microfactors we talked about. Every single product, supplement-wise, across the board, is the very best in the business. Andy Frisella has really figured it out over there, man. And there's a reason why this company is growing every single year. So support us by supporting them because they help keep us on the air. As always, it is free shipping on orders over $100 over at First Form. Last but not least is AmericanFinancing.net/Drinkin Bros. All right, guys, if you're a homeowner out there, it's for you. If you're trying to lower some of your interest costs from high credit card interest, this is the way to do it. Why? Credit card interest, 20 to 30%. Your house is around 6.5% to 7%. Until Jerome Powell lowers these fucking rates, which I guess it's supposed to happen this week, allegedly. I don't know.
Maybe tomorrow, maybe Thursday.
God damn it. I hope so. American financing, in the meantime, can help you out, dude, because it's still going to take a while to lower the interest rate to where we need it to be here. And it's taking a little bit of equity out of your house at a smaller interest rate, paying off the credit cards, and then paying that off. On average, their customers are saving about $800 a month, and it's purely just interest, you guys. That's simple math here. American financing and licensed in all 50 states. Customers, on average, save about $800 a month when they call and let American financing help them. They don't charge any upfront or hidden fees to see how much you can save, and you may be able to close in as fast as 10 days. You also may be able to delay up to 2 mortgage payments, creating more savings up front. They've helped hundreds of thousands of homeowners create meaningful savings, and it's reflected in the reviews on Google. Call today at 866-887-2275. That is 866-887-2275 or AmericanFinancing.net/DrinkinBros. Better Business Bureau disclaimer is NMLS 182334. And you can check them out at nmlsconsumeraccess.org. Last but not least, HardAFSeltzer.com. Just going to ask you for one quick thing here. We're in Circle K's. We're doing a test run in Alabama right now and the Panhandle in Florida. So specifically in Tuscaloosa, the University of Alabama, and Auburn University as well. Circle K's. Just go to the Circle K's and buy them out for the next 6 weeks. It ends at the end of October. If those numbers are great, they will put us in 3,000 stores across the entire Southeast. It is a big deal. Circle K is the largest convenience store chain in the nation. If we get those guys, we will win. Why am I telling you to do this? 4,000 of you guys, 4,000 listeners have invested in the company itself. We win, you win. It's as simple as that. And this is a surefire way to help that happen. It's like Shark Tank. You ever see on Shark Tank where it's like, do you have a huge PO order? Well, I'll give you, X amount of dollars to fill it. That's exactly what we need it for here. So if you're in those areas, go out and buy HardAF Seltzer. And then the Tall Boys are coming this week to Texas. They're already in Michigan and all the USA to goes. Ryan Mills should be stopping by, I want to say Thursday or Friday, and I'll have him explain where those are going to initially, but they've shipped, then they have landed in the state of Texas, and we'll give you all those details on Thursday. In the meantime, go to hardafseltzer.com today, click on the store locator, enter your city or zip, and find the closest location nearest you.
Do you decide to interpret this in a way that's like, oh, he has a personal problem with me? That's one way of filtering it, and so you're going to elicit a certain emotion out of that. Another way of filtering that is what is going on in this guy's life right now that made him like lash out like this. That's going to produce a very different emotion from the exact same situation. So there is like, before you have an emotion, there is always a filter you pass things through which you determine like, this is what this actually means. Yeah. And you get to decide on that filter.
Yeah. Adlerian psychology would call that positive reframing.
Right.
That's what you're supposed to do. But the science behind it, that's just a phrase from some guy. The science behind that is twofold. One, there's a direct connection between IQ and violence. The lower your IQ, the more likely you are to do stupid, violent shit. You can see that all throughout the world right now.
Lack of impulse control.
The most violent countries, like in Africa and the Middle East, for example, have IQs around 65. No shock there, right? Makes sense. The dumbest dude you know is probably more likely to get into a fight.
Right.
That's probably true. The other one is that, physiologically speaking, a man, I can't speak for women, but males need somewhere between 30 and 60 seconds to accurately answer a complex social question. It takes your brain about that amount of time to put all the pieces together, figure out like that second order effect, that third order effect, blah, blah, blah. Okay, here's my answer, right? So women are of social mind all the time. They can respond very quickly to these things, and usually in a more accurate way than man can. A man needs time to consider that thing. And what's, I guess, a more complex social question than responding to your own emotional stimulus, especially when it's invoked by someone else doing something that you may not like, right? So having the presence of mind a buffer is a good way to put it, but it's not, a buffer just is time. It's not just the time, it's the fucking thoughtfulness during that period that's going to keep you from doing dumb shit. And also it makes you, I'll say this just from interrogation giving somebody more time to think about what you're about to do puts the anxiety back on them instead of you. Now you're in a position of power, and we do this intentionally. And I do it if I interview somebody for a job, I'll ask them a question and let them answer, and I'll pause for another 15 seconds just to see if they say anything else. Well, I learned that from learning how to do interrogations on people, right? So think about it from both angles. One, from answering or responding, and two, from being the person that's receiving the response. And either side of that is very beneficial to you and helps you establish dominance over the other person, which you should take into consideration if you're a man, in my opinion, to pause for a moment, right? And make the other person make the next move or make the mistake. Whomever talks first loses. Right. I guess that's kind of a silly way to put it, but that's kind of how it is.
It takes a lot to be uncomfortable in silence, too.
Mm-hmm.
Like,
most people can't do it.
Guys run into that when it comes to like hanging out with women and dating too, as much as they do in like a negotiation or like a job interview or any of these kind of situations. Like that ability to just be totally okay.
Yeah, yeah. I think this. So, yeah, a good green flag. If you've been dating somebody for a while, is if you guys can just hang out and do nothing.
Yeah. In silence.
Because that means neither of you are anxious about what the other person's thinking.
Yeah.
Right? You guys are probably on a pretty good wavelength. You've addressed the major issues that might come between you if you're able to just hang out and not even talk to each other. Yeah, I like that. So now let's get into some of the more like direct sexual stuff. What do you think? So men are having a hard time approaching women. I think the devices have a big effect on that.
Completely.
Like growing up, looking into a screen and not making eye contact with people. Eye contact has become uncomfortable for a lot of folk. And I don't know if anybody's ever done a study on this, but try to ask a woman out on a date without making eye contact with her and see if it works. I don't know if that's ever worked, unless she also was autistic and looking in the opposite direction. Right? You can't fucking do that. It's ridiculous. So you gotta, I mean, that's eye contact is a good measure for if somebody is comfortable with themselves. You know what I mean? That more so, there's to keep having your shoulders back, generally the good posture, but also direct eye contact are the 96% or so of communication is nonverbal, right? Body language. And those are the two primary forms of body language that show somebody that you're a competent and confident human being. And if you can't do those two things, then you're kind of fucked, right? And there's probably a lot more reasons for it. We can talk about hormones too. I rail on this stuff all the time. People's hormones are all fucked up. But just from like an approach standpoint, how do you coach men who are having trouble with that on how to deal with it?
Well, a lot of guys are really like nervous and anxious about that idea, right? Of walking up to a strange woman and, saying hi, ask her out on a date, hitting on her, whatever, right? You can't like fake your emotions to a woman. So a piece of advice that I have told guys and has worked quite successfully in the past is like you kind of have to own the fact that if you actually are nervous, right? And you're going to talk to her, you actually should be owning.
Just say it.
That. Yeah.
Like I'm a little nervous, but fuck it.
Yeah, exactly.
You know
something as simple as, look, this is kind of nuts. I'll be kicking myself for the rest of the day if I don't come up and say hi to you, though. Like you're calling out the very fact that you are anxious and nervous, which in and of itself actually kind of gets rid of your anxiety and nerves, and it comes across as a lot more genuine, which makes you not creepy. But if a guy came up to a woman and tried to pretend that he was like very confident, but she can obviously tell that he isn't, he is perceived as creepy. That incongruency between what a guy is thinking and feeling and then what he's projecting and portraying, if there's an incongruency there, that is what women call creepy.
Yeah. For sure, yeah. People, like, you can definitely ick somebody up saying some creepy shit, but being a shifty fucker is way worse than anything you're going to say. Because if you say something dumb, you always have the out of like, oh, that was fucking stupid. That's not what I meant to say at all. Carly Rae Jepsen wrote about this, noted author. Who's laughing? Ryan, was that Ryan? I don't know if you're old enough to even know who that is.
That was your girl, dude.
I do know who Carly Rae is, but I also didn't laugh.
Oh, well, who
Well, I
laughed?
have nothing but respect for Carly Rae back
Yeah.
here. So
Call me
She
maybe.
said, hey, I just met you and this is crazy, but here's my number, so call me maybe. Right?
poet.
And then she
Harvard baseball
says,
team.
it's hard to look right at you, baby, but here's my number, so call me maybe. So she was not talking about herself. She's communicating to men. Talk to me like a fucking adult, you piece of shit. No, like if your job as a man, whether you're trying to just bang somebody, but more, hopefully your goal is to establish a long-term relationship and start a fucking family. If you don't inspire confidence in this woman, that you're a competent person that can take care of her, you're just go fucking jump into the ocean, man. Like that's you're better off.
Well, I'd say work on yourself first before you jump to.
Yeah, well, I mean, I think the strain of having to swim back will teach you some
Right.
lessons in resilience. But yeah, that's never going to work, ever.
Yeah, like going back to what you said about like this whole the digital aspect of maybe Gen Z, Gen Alpha being a bit of a problem. You look at a lot of like Twitch is massive, like Twitch, YouTube, like lots of live streamers. You look at the way these younger guys are kind of like learning how to socialize, and they're learning like a form of like to be a dancing monkey for a lot of these guys. A lot of these live streamers, like people who are not necessarily like teaching people anything. They're just say an entertainer, a pure entertainer, right? When a young guy's looking up to that, what's he seeing? He's seeing a guy who's just saying shit for the sake of being controversial. Doesn't actually necessarily mean what he's saying. He's just trying to be trendy or go viral or whatever. They're doing outrageous pranks. They're doing outrageous stunts. It's like they're just this big dancing monkey who doesn't actually believe anything he's saying, believe anything he's doing, have any real values or convictions. And in some cases, they're just a corporate whore for whatever the sponsor they've got for the particular Twitch live stream. And then you've got the women on Twitch and stuff. A lot of them are just sitting there hawking their OnlyFans, trying to get dudes in that simp pipeline. And it's like you've got all these young guys learning kind of how to socialize by watching live streams of people in their home with a couple of other influencers like clowning on each other. And it's just producing a very anti-social young man, I think.
Yeah, it kind of sounds, from the male perspective, pretty performative.
Yeah.
Like a 5-year-old jumping up in the air and doing a kick and saying, Mom, look what I can do. It's like, all right, cool. Well, get in the fucking car, dude. We got to go.
Right.
Yeah, I think this disconnect between, it isn't just men and women, it's men and other men. I don't know how women are dealing with it. Women have always hated other women, so I don't know what the fuck they're up to over there, syncing up their cycles or whatever. But men and other men are having trouble communicating with each other now, which is kind of an odd thing to do because it used to be, that used to be one of the, I guess, one of the prices of admission to civilized society was being able to look another dude in his eyes and shake his hand and communicate that I've got some value and competence, right? Otherwise,
There's also like no checks and balances on that man-to-man communication either. When you've got like your main medium of communication is online, where there's no physical ramifications for being an arsehole.
yeah,
If you can spurg out on Twitter, spurg out on Twitch, in the comment section on YouTube, whatever, and that's just how you've kind of lived your entire teenage years, you are very disconnected from the violent nature of reality.
Yeah, getting popped in the face a couple times when you're young is not a bad thing.
No.
It doesn't really work so much coming from your parents, but by your peers, it's important to have a self-correcting function, I think. Is just the ability to communicate in general, the cascade, or not being able to communicate, rather, the cascading effects of this are like, we think of it in terms of not being able to accomplish what we're trying to accomplish socially in the moment, but the real cascading effect is the loneliness and the nihilism that comes as a result of that, right? Because then it becomes a self-fulfilling thing. Because you go home after a weak, ill-advised attempt, and people think, women just don't like me. It's like, no, that woman didn't like what you did in that moment. That's what really happened.
Yeah.
But you don't know that women don't like you because you don't even know what the fuck you're doing yet. You don't even know how to communicate who you are as a human being to this person. You know what I mean? You're speaking a completely different language. And when I say that, I don't mean the literal language. I mean the fact that most communication is nonverbal, and you don't know how to stand up straight and talk to somebody while looking them in the eyes. So you're speaking a completely different language. The only thing they're seeing is your fucking bad posture and body language. That's all they're seeing in that moment. And again, you go home and it becomes a self-fulfilling prophecy, and then you get these dudes who, I guess it's kind of the counter to the Madonna whore complex, where you just see that you start to believe, maybe as a defense mechanism, that women have no value, so I should not invest anything in them because there's no ROI, there's no return on that investment for me. So, and then they've grown to call themselves Sigma males in the social media space, which is the worst. That is the worst description of what they are. They're nihilists. They're just like, oh, well, the game's not going the way I want, so I'm taking my ball and going home. That's who they are.
That is the attitude.
Yeah.
I see a lot of that, like, repeated again and again online, this idea of, like, the juice isn't worth the squeeze.
Yeah,
like,
yeah.
Modern women aren't worth dating. And it's always coming from a guy who clearly doesn't actually have any experience.
Yeah.
And my thought to him is like, man, you're missing out on, like, an entire sphere of life by not having women in your life. Like, yeah, women can be annoying sometimes, and like, they have a period, which sucks. But like, they're actually really lovely creatures when they love you, when they respect you and love you and adore you. There is like damn near nothing better than that.
Yeah,
and it kind of makes me sad seeing guys just give up like that.
I mean, it's just pathetic. To be honest, it really is. It's like, but if you look at it through the lens, the behavior, the way that a 5-year-old reacts to emotional stimulus is pathetic too. Right. But he's 5, so it makes sense. Right. You're fucking 30, dude. Like it's time to grow up. And to some degree, I don't blame the guys because one, they're getting hammered with either bad information from the person you're describing, and there's a lot of them out there. Or from the other end, they're getting fucked with by these feminist retards who are just like, oh, you're like the men have no value stuff. I'm like, all right, cool, go build your own house, dum-dum. Yeah.
And unfortunately, that's probably most of the teachers they had when they were growing up.
Almost all. I think it's like 85% of teachers are female, right?
Yeah. And would lean more towards being a feminist.
Yeah, I mean, it's not a good deal, So I think it is I think that is the counterbalance to the Madonna whore complex, is this so-called Sigma male nihilist who's trying to pull you out of the social sphere from that direction, while just your own misunderstanding of what the relationship between men and women is supposed to be is pulling you in the other direction. Right. But whether it's your friend at work who's a female, your mom or grandma or a fucking stranger on the street, or your wife or your daughter, that woman, no matter what age she is, wants you to be a competent protector of her. Right? And the result of you being that and communicating that to her is going to be more adoration, more affection, etc., regardless of whether it's sexual from your wife or girlfriend or just random women, or, more along the lines of a family love or something like that, right? Just the way it works. So, yeah, guys, you got to be resistant to this bullshit. Right, the bad information.
I think a big source of frustration for a lot of guys as well is like their expectation of what women should be, how women should behave, is constructed from a completely false narrative that they've been fed ever since they were a young man through, mainstream feminism, through most movies, most rom-coms, most sitcoms and TV shows and things. They teach men that, oh, the hot blonde will fall for the bumbling idiot. The hot blonde will fall, the gorgeous brunette with the big rack. Oh, she's going to go after the guy who's incompetent in every way possible.
Yeah. Kevin James broke a lot of brains.
Exactly. Like, you're just setting guys up for failure when you're just... And you might think, oh, people understand it's a movie and it's a joke. If you're being told the same lie again and again and again, eventually you believe it. And so when a guy has this completely false worldview of what women are like, what women respond to, and then he goes out in the real world and interacts with a woman and she doesn't respond positively to these things, he gets frustrated. He gets butthurt. Yeah. And then he starts to hate women and really resent women because he's just been fed a complete lie, and no one told him, like, that's all horseshit. This is actually how women behave. This is what they respond to. And if you do these things, you'll actually have a fantastic experience with women.
Yeah.
But that gap between his expectations and reality is what's letting him down.
What, in addition to just the I guess, I don't even know what you would call that really, but the idea that the woman's going to fall for an incompetent turd, right? In addition to that, what do you think are some other, like, expectations that a lot of these dudes have that are just wildly inaccurate? I mean, one of them is the Madonna whore complex, where telling you, you're out in a social situation with your woman, put your fucking hand around the back of her neck and squeeze it kind of hard, and I guarantee you're getting laid that night. That's a fucking cheat code, by the way. I hate to share it because now these broads know about it, but it's a fucking cheat code. I'm telling you, especially if you've got large hands. But there's a lot of misconceptions about that stuff. What do you, in addition to this, the bumbling idiot one, what are some other ones that you kind of run into?
This idea of, like, putting a woman on a pedestal, like supplicating to women, kind of like being like a carpet that they can just walk all over.
Oh yeah,
like
yeah.
No woman respects a guy that doesn't have boundaries, right? The guy, like, because the narrative is like, oh, if a guy has boundaries, he's controlling, right? And we talked about this before, but the idea that you have to have boundaries to have a relationship in the first place.
Yeah.
Otherwise, there isn't a relationship. There is nothing there. Like, the same concept applies to, like, nations. If there's no border, you don't have a nation, right? So he has to be able to, like, demonstrate that he has boundaries, which demonstrates to her that he has actually got self-respect. If he doesn't have any self-respect, if he is this guy who is, this is another thing that is sort of falsely portrayed as being accurate, is this idea that women respond to it positively to a guy who's, like, in touch with his emotions, in tune with his emotions, which is portrayed as a guy who is just being extremely emotional. He isn't a guy who's, let's say, perhaps stoic and actually in control of his emotions. He's a guy who gives into his emotions and basically uses his woman as like a therapist. That idea is just, I don't think anything could dry a vagina up faster than a guy just sitting there and treating her like a counselor.
Yeah. Yeah, I mean, there's boundaries and consequences matter. You can tolerate, or you can't tolerate bad behavior, right? No matter where it comes from. Now, as a man, you got to respond and not react. Your woman is a more emotional creature than you are, and there's gonna be some of that. And in the moment, you should deal with it accordingly. But after the fact, when she settles the fuck down, be like, hey, you gotta knock that off, right? Or like, let's find a way to mitigate the intensity of this stuff a little bit. Or if there's underlying issues that are coming out in these moments, let's address those things. So when you get into that emotional state, the thing that you're thinking of is so preposterous because we've solved so many problems that even you are like, well, that might be stupid. Right. Maybe I should just shut the fuck up for 5 minutes and wait for this to pass or whatever.
I'll add something to that, and it's I think women need this emotional roller coaster. They need the ups and the downs.
Yeah, I mean that's a physiological thing. So for men, our hormonal cycle is 24-hour period. For women, it's 30 or 28 days, right? So all the stuff you feel in one day, hers is like each one of those fucking hours that we have is like 10 hours for a woman. Yeah. It's just different.
But that's why women will start shit. They'll start drama. They'll kick off. They'll get emotional in the course of a relationship when everything is objectively perfectly fine, because they need that, what I call that down in the roller coaster. They need something in their. If everything is, a guy is totally happy when everything is just smooth sailing and fine. He doesn't need like drama in his life, because a man's life is, for the most part, quite challenging. You know, he has to prove himself.
And that's another physiological thing, but difference between men and women. When women bitch, their cortisol levels go down. When men bitch, they go up. Yeah, like immediately. Just we're built differently. It's just completely the way it is, man. But
the point I'll add to it is, I think you're in a far better situation if you're the one who's kind of deliberately guiding that roller coaster. If you're leading the relationship, if you're the one who's, and it doesn't mean you have to start arguments with her, but if you're the one who's creating some of that negative every now and then, Like maybe you're deliberately being cheeky and injecting a bit of drama, even though you know it's no big deal. At least you're in control of the roller coaster then. So it's easier for you to react to it in a positive way. Versus if there's no drama, if it's all smooth sailing, she's going to start some shit at some point eventually, and then you're going to have to react to it. It's a far better situation when the guy is leading things in a way that, okay, he knows that she has to have some like dips every now and then. There has to be some kind of emotional variance. It's better if it's coming from him.
Can you give me a practical example of how you might do something like that?
Practical example would be like commenting on like one of her friends, like, oh, she looks fucking sexy in that dress. A little bit of jealousy. A little ping of jealousy. Just to like nonchalant, well, you're not going to act on it, you're not going to do anything about it. But commenting on like another girl's beauty in front of her, just nonchalantly, that's a ping of negative emotion, a ping of jealousy, let's say. Which just keeps things interesting. This is why women are like, women will never leave. This might be a bit harsh saying this, but women don't tend to leave guys who are like super, and I'm not saying guys should do this, but they don't tend to leave guys who are like super emotionally abusive. Because there's just so much of this roller coaster going on that she gets like hooked. He's like an emotional slot machine for her. It's like she pulls that lever, she never knows, like, is she going to win the jackpot or is she going to lose? And it's just so inconsistent, this emotional variance, that she gets addicted to it. Same reason why people get addicted to slot machines, you know? And it's like understanding that. If you're ignorant to that and you just try to make everything always smooth, maybe your life is just so chaotic that you don't have to do anything. Like maybe your life is so chaotic, you're so busy, you're traveling around the world, you're controversial, you've got people hating on you all the time, whatever, right? Maybe your life just is naturally a bit chaotic. In which case, you don't have to do a damn thing. But if you are just a regular 9-to-5 Joe who's smooth sailing, she needs a bit of drama here and there. And it's far better to come from you because you can control it and you know that it doesn't really mean anything than for her to try and start it. Because someone's going to start it. It's going to come from somewhere.
Yeah, I don't know about all that. That's something. There's definitely got to be some kind of emotional release valve, though. Like on that point, that's 100% accurate. That's accurate for everybody, even for dudes, though. I think that's one of the reasons that I think comedy played such a big role overcoming all the COVID madness. You know what I mean? Just like comedy is kind of a pressure release valve for broader society. If you and I can make fun of each other, there's a lot less chance that we're going to get into a fight about something.
Right.
You know what I mean? So maybe hitting on her friends isn't a great idea. Well, I guess that's not really what you're saying. You're just saying making a comment or whatever. I probably wouldn't do that, but I will talk some shit from time to time. Not necessarily to start drama, but maybe that's what I'm doing.
Well, that's what,
you know what I mean?
That's kind of what flirting is, really.
A little bit, yeah. I mean,
You know?
you got to have a good, what's the phrase? You got to have a good roast to compliment ratio in a relationship or some shit like that. Like you got to talk a little shit to each other.
Yeah, talking like we call it banter. Like
yeah.
it's okay. That ability, people like.
I've got a good
call that
example,
flirting.
actually. I was talking about a man cave the other day and showing her a picture, and then she started talking about rugs for the next 5 minutes. I'm like, what the fuck are you talking about rugs for, dude? I don't know if she did it on purpose to provoke me, but I think she may have. Now, hearing you say that, she may have been doing that shit on purpose.
Well, I don't think women are doing it on purpose. I think it's innate. Like it's almost instinctual for them to do it.
Yeah, maybe.
You know?
Yeah, but I like it. I like the shit talking part of it is. I think that's another green flag in your relationship. If you're having like non-barbed insult exchanges,
They don't actually have any depth to them.
yeah, with your significant other, that's probably a good sign. Things
it's
are
healthy.
going well, I think.
Yeah.
Like what the fuck? I make fun of her for not staying hydrated a lot. I don't know why. It's because I'm so well hydrated, I think. But yeah, little shit talking like that, I think is super helpful.
No.
And also, like again. You don't want to trivialize an emotion that's serious to the other person in the moment, especially. But if you can like have a comical conversation about it, to your point, when it's not in the height of that emotional response, it's probably a good idea to do that from time to time. Like, hey, you were really pinging the other day. You want to talk about that for a minute? Yeah. I think. It's like really what whether it's the relationship or not, you're talking about friendships ultimately, right? All relationships are some sort of friendship. They just have different environmental factors. Like you want to be friendly with your parents even. You know what I mean? Not that they should treat you like they're your friend or whatever, right? There should be a different type of respect there, but these relationships matter, and there are going to be some things that are true about all of your relationships with men and about all of your relationships with women. You know what I mean? These women who say things like, "Oh, I'm just one of the guys." I'm like, okay, we'll see. When dudes get into a small confined space together, we'll see how much of one of the guys you are.
Right.
Because we are fucking disgusting. I think, didn't 30 Rock do that one time?
Yeah. It was just like when men have no like drive for women or anything like that, they just get completely
Yeah, they don't shower.
Horrific, yeah.
Fucking gross. So, in the same way, we need that too. I think it's like to your point about that relationship that men have to women, what we get out of it. The reason that we build all this crazy shit is for the most precious currency in the history of human beings, pussy. And it will always be the most precious currency ever, no matter what anybody else says. But it's a good thing for society for the most possible masculine dude to be trying to build something to impress the most feminine woman, right? Because then you get the balance that nature requires for us to exist as not just, otherwise it's just a fucking Thunderdome. If it was just dudes who were like, yeah, I'm going to build some crazy shit, we'll go to the moon. Well, we'll go to the moon and build a fucking circle pit and watch people fight to the death, you know what I mean? Because that's what interests us. But you get to, without... I don't really care for rom-coms that much, but I'm sure there's plenty of entertainment that I get drawn into because of women and even kids. Like I probably wouldn't watch Harry Potter. I've ever watched Harry Potter if it wasn't made. It would only have been made for children, right? Yeah. But I enjoyed it as an adult. I thought it was great. Same thing with Lord of the Rings, shit like that. Although that was in the 30s when that was written, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, I think it was in the 1930s. There's a lot of benefit we get from that polarity, and I think it's like, I feel bad for those dudes who have opted out. Like you have no idea what you're missing. Yeah. It's like I understand getting butt hurt and fucking running away if you're a child or something like that, but it's the loss is so great. It doesn't make sense to me.
Yeah, I mean, no one's gonna care about your unique situation anyway as a guy. Like no one gives a shit. So only you can give a shit about yourself. This idea, like we've made victimhood fashionable.
Yeah.
In so many different ways that I think a lot of guys have seen that and think that they can play that game. Women can play the victimhood game.
Well, that's the sneaky.
But men can't play
that's
that
the sneaky fucker game, right?
Right.
And if you're not familiar with, in the audience, if you're not familiar with this, with seals, walruses, etc., there is one large male who's called the beach master, and he does all the fucking, and all the other dudes sit on the other side of the berm, and they're in the cuck chair. You know what I mean? But the sneaky fucker uses his shiftiness to wait for the beach master to leave or go to sleep or something. They come in, and that's how their DNA continues to get passed. Yep. Well, the human social version of that is to try to use the male feminist is the best example. Yep. It's like, oh, I'm a male feminist. I'm like, no, you're not. No, you're not. And they're the worst people. Like the worst people. The way that they actually treat women is the worst of anybody that isn't just outright beating them.
Because he thinks he is entitled to something. Yeah. That male feminist in his mind, it's like he's deposited nice guy tokens into the vending machine and Pushy should be dropping out the other end.
Yeah, what happened?
Yeah. Like, so this level of entitlement from that guy is actually what makes those dudes like actually quite dangerous for women to be around. Like I guarantee you, like the girl who passes out on like a couch at a frat party, the dude who's touching her up isn't like the jock from the football team. It's the male feminist who's like jumping on his opportunity.
Yep. Yeah. And a lot of this weakness comes from the precipitous drop in testosterone levels. And I don't know how it is in Australia. In the U.S., the last large study was done showed that the average 21-year-old today has the same level of testosterone that their grandfather had in 2000.
Yeah.
So it's dropped from an average for a 21-year-old of like 800 to the mid 4s over the course of a generation and a half. That's insane.
We don't have this interesting looking at Australia like compared to America because we don't have some of the big like chemical problems you guys have here. So like you guys have got high fructose corn syrup and everything.
Yep.
We don't have that. You guys have a whole bunch of like pesticides and herbicides you spray on your crops that are illegal in the rest of the world.
Yep.
That penetrates into your food supply. You have a bigger population, which means more hormonal birth control is present in the water supply. Like, there's a lot of the average guy has to sort of he's facing this constant battle with the environment he's in, where he has to like to try and maintain any semblance of normal, healthy hormonal function. It's kind of scary. A really good book on this topic that I read, we just talked about it with Candace actually, is Estrogeneration by Anthony J. Super good book on this topic. He covers it in great detail.
Let's check that out.
It's a bit of a black pill. Like you might get a little bit paranoid reading it, but it's very accurate. It outlines, like, it discusses the problem in extensive detail.
Yeah, that stuff doesn't make me paranoid because I know how to solve it. You know,
Right.
I mean, it's a relatively easy thing to solve. As a matter of fact, even with just lifestyle changes, you can boost yourself up pretty high. Some people, I know a lot of people who've, even as adults, have been able to tackle that issue without drugs.
Good.
Just like change a couple things, right?
Yeah.
Like I like to drink from time to time, mostly wine these days, a little bit of whiskey, but people that are consistent heavy drinkers, you're going to have some hormonal issues just as a result of that. So, you know, this is you have to eat your dinner before you eat your dessert. This is a rule all throughout human existence. If I want to go do X, Y, and Z, I got to fucking run a little bit or lift weights or eat this first or whatever the fuck. You're going to find some pretty good balance. When you see these people who live to like the what is it called? The blue zones?
Blue zones, yeah.
I think, yeah. The diets vary. Eat different kind of stuff. But one thing that doesn't is the movement. You know what I mean? Like people that walk upstairs tend to live longer.
Right.
We should probably get something out of that, I guess.
I think farmers tend to live longer too.
Maybe, I don't know about that one, but that would seem true. But
Like their kids tend to be taller, at the very least.
interesting.
Especially if they grow up on a dairy farm.
Farmers. I gotta look that up. All right. Yeah, maybe. Yeah, it's like people that have not just stay alive longer, but are like we instead of saying lifespan, we're starting to say health span now. Like, how long am I actually able to move around and do the shit I want to do?
Right.
People that tend to go deeper into that process, there's usually one marker. It's like, well, I always do this because you see. I remember when you wouldn't know this because it was in American television back in the day, but in the late '90s, early 2000s, this fat bastard Al Roker. He was like a weather guy or some shit, but he was part of the Today Show, and every day there would be some 105-year-old person on the show, and he would always interview him like, "Hey, what's your secret to staying healthy?" And it would always be something stupid, right? Some wildly disparate idea, nothing you could really collect data from. But he did. I remember this one guy was 111 years old. Lewis Black, the comedian, talked about it at some point. He goes, "What's your secret?" He goes, "I drink a gallon of Thunderbird wine a week, and I eat bread heels dipped in bacon fat." I'm like, well, that's not it, right? It's something else. He probably walked every day, everywhere he went, right? And he was like 111 years old or some shit like that. The purpose of that story is that you can do stuff, but you better invest first, you know? Put some good shoes on before you go run the marathon.
Yeah.
That's a good idea because, again, to your point, whether it black pills you or not, modern society is against you in almost every way because we just haven't evolved like this. We haven't evolved to sit around all day looking at a fucking screen.
No. Too much fucking blue light.
Yeah, and it's
people
fucking
people don't get out in the sun enough. That's a big one as well.
No sun. Like for people with our skin tone, even absorbing vitamin D from the sun now, even if you stay out in the sun all day, is difficult. Like our absorption rate is lower today than it was 20 years ago.
Yeah.
So almost, if you're a cracker like me, you pretty much have to take vitamin D every day. Modern society's kind of set up against you, but don't be a bitch. You're a man. Be a man. Figure out the problem. Work the problem and solve it, and then live a good life. It's up to you. You get to decide whether you're going to do that or not.
And you're lucky right now because you've got the internet. A lot of people have solved this problem for you already.
About 2,000 years ago. They're called the Stoics, and then Aristotle. They solved almost all of these problems. You can go look them up. Most of it's free, to be honest. Just half of it. Just if you wait for the right time on Audible, at some point, all of it's free.
Are you a fan of Ryan Holiday's stuff?
Yeah, no, Ryan. Yeah, he's been on the show a couple times.
Oh, nice.
He lives around here somewhere, I think.
Oh, sweet.
Yeah,
I was a big fan of his.
Yeah, he's great. Yeah, the Modern Stoic was his first book, I think.
The book I was introduced to him by is his book called "Trust Me, I'm Lying: Confessions of a Media Manipulator." That was incredibly useful for me in regards to business stuff.
Yeah, he's a smart guy. I like his stuff.
Very intelligent guy.
You've got a book out.
I have several.
So what are they?
I have books that help guys get over premature ejaculation. I have books that help guys get over performance anxiety. I have books on like porn industry biohacks and things like that that can help their sex life. I've got a couple of video courses. I've got a brand new book for women that just came out to help them coax better sex out of their man without bruising his ego. That's called the pleasure blueprint. And if any ladies are watching,
the pleasure blueprint, you said
they can get that from stirlingforher.com is what we're launching this week for that. So yeah, there's a kind of conundrum there with women. Like if your man ain't like hitting it right, you kind of don't want to bruise his ego.
Sure, yeah.
Because if a woman says like the wrong thing in that situation, you could give a guy like erectile dysfunction.
Yeah.
Like, if you could just really fuck his head up. So it's like a tightrope. They kind of got to walk to like get to elicit the correct attitude out of their man, I guess, and to give him the correct kind of feedback in the moment, so she's not sort of nagging him and telling him what to do. So.
Yeah, that's interesting. And what are the titles of the other books? Are they all on Amazon and shit?
No, if you go to stirlingcooper.com, you can find all of those there.
That's Sterling with two I's, by the way, not in the middle. I-N-G. People always say Sterling with an I or something like that. Well, technically there's two I's. That's autism, I think. I probably didn't need to say any of that. Sterling with an I. Sterling.
STI. I think think STIs.
Oh, I wouldn't think too much about that, but
and then that's how you spell my name.
Yeah, StirlingCooper.com. You can get those books. STI. So when's the new one come out?
It is launched already.
Oh, cool.
Yeah,
okay. And that one's at Sterling for Her.
Stirlingforher.com.
Okay, .com.
Yeah. Sterling still spelled the same way.
Well, give me the. Go back through the books again. What's the first one's about? Erectile dysfunction.
We've got a book on preventing premature ejaculation.
Premature ejaculation. Okay.
We've got the Ultimate Guide to Performance Anxiety.
And it's not just thinking about your dead grandma or whatever the fuck.
No,
okay.
there's
that's what they tell people.
There's a lot more you can do to fix that problem.
Well, see, the problem is you may start to fetishize your dead grandma, right? That's always a problem. You don't want to run into that.
So let's not do that.
And then there's one on erectile dysfunction.
Well, that's tied into the book. It's called How I Grew My Penis and Other Porn Industry Secrets. So that's an entire book on biohacks relating to the pornographic industry.
Okay.
Supplementation stuff, exercises, a whole bunch of stuff.
Cool. And then there's this is the third one, or
then we have a couple of video courses. One's on dirty talk. So it's a dirty talk. It's kind of like a boot camp teaching guys how different frameworks of like how to actually sub-communicate, correctly in the bedroom. Dirty talk is something guys get quite nervous about, and they don't really know what to say, so they just default to repeating something they've heard in a porno.
Oh boy!
But you can get a lot more intricate and nuanced and instructive with it.
Instructive? Give me an example.
Come over here, get on your knees, grab it, take it out, put it in your mouth.
Yeah.
Like, there's different categories of dirty talk I break down in this one. So it's sort of like you have leading and instructing kind of dirty talk.
Sure,
then you have descriptive dirty talk, where you're sort of relaying back to her what's actually happening to her in the moment using very descriptive adjectives. And it's a way of like fast tracking a woman to an orgasm. Like the brain is the thing that turns a woman on the most.
Yeah.
And if you can tap into that in the right way, you can just save yourself a whole lot of time and a whole lot of stress when it comes to pleasing a woman.
Sure.
And it's super fun for you, super fun for her. It's dirty talk in and of itself is actually kind of self-hypnosis.
Yeah.
Like
yeah.
if you're dirty talking to your woman, you're actually going to arouse yourself.
Right.
So it's actually another way of getting over things like performance anxiety and erectile dysfunction.
Interesting.
Yeah, it's super interesting.
And everybody can find those books at stirlingcooper.com, and then the new one
that's it.
is wait, which one's that? Oh, that's the course.
That's the whole website.
Yeah,
right
yeah,
there.
yeah. And then there's go to the other site. It's Stirling for her. Is it the number
That's
4 or
correct-
the word?
The word for.
Okay. forher.com. There we go. Oh. It's like you fucked up, dude.
Yeah, you don't need the.
Oh, there we go.
Yeah, boom, there
The
we go.
Pleasure Blueprint. How to get him to give you the mind-blowing sex you want and deserve.
That's right. Get it, ladies.
Yeah, for all you broads out there.
Saucy broads.
Yeah. Go check that out. Well, thanks for coming today, man. I appreciate the time.
Thank you for having me on.
Yeah.
It's been a lot of fun out here.
Great show. I like talking about this stuff. People think it's weird. It's like, this bothers me. I talk about this shit all the time. You are all here as the result of your parents fucking.
Exactly.
Your dad cream pied your mom. Maybe she was awake when it happened. Maybe she wasn't. It's none of my business. Maybe there was another dude in the room. You have no idea. I have no idea. But you are all the result of cream pies out there. Stop being weird about sex. Learn about it. It's a big part of your fucking relationship. Don't be one of these women who's a fucking angry, sexless person because this is how all this blue-haired fucking stupid bullshit started. And don't be one of these little bitch-ass dudes who allow it. Make society better by, as our guest so eloquently stated, dicking down your woman. Yeah, thanks for coming today. I really appreciate it.
Oh, thanks for having me, man.
Yes, sir.
Well
This is Drinkin' Bros. Sometimes we talk about politics. Sometimes we talk about buttholes. Today, it was a little of both. And we'll see you in hell.